What are some green flags early on in dating that the relationship should become serious? My husband and I backcountry camped on our second date. He was a pro, so I trusted him abs. He says he was impressed at my willingness to be bold and do something adventurous. We spent several hours hiking into a spot with only conversation in the woods. We set up camp and cooked together. The feeling was peace. Just at peace to be with each other, work as a team and comfortable with the quiet and fire. I knew he was the one that night. I always thought love at first sight would be a powerful rush or energy. Turns out it feels like coming home. When your soul feels at peace, that's a green flag, my friends. This was one of the most romantic things my husband did when we were early-ish in our relationship. He doesn't even remember it or think it was a big deal, but it was a huge green flag for me. I was preparing to move to a new apartment and had a ton of stuff going on in my life, including trying to coordinate moving out with expensive heat treatment for bed bugs that my a-hole landlord refused to be involved with. I was super stressed and drained, and when I was cleaning the fridge, one of the shelves inside literally shattered. I was basically beside myself and so frustrated because I knew that said a-hole landlord was going to screw me on my security deposit now after all I put up with. So I vented to my husband, then boyfriend, and was basically just like, I give up. Everything is the worst. The next day he let me know that he had looked up my fridge model, found the shelf as a standalone piece, and ordered it, and it would be there in 2 days, or whatever. I cried. I was so grateful. I was so overwhelmed and emotionally exhausted over the bed bugs and moving and everything else, and the fact that he saw that and just took something off my plate and handled it was such a relief. It showed me what a supportive partner he could be, and it was just what I needed. Also, when my parents' dog, which I'd grown up with, got old and stopped being able to jump onto his favorite chair, my husband, then boyfriend, built a ramp for the dog so he could still get up there to sit with my mom, and he matched it to her decor on purpose. These were all things he just felt like, well, of course, it was needed about, but they reinforced what a caring, thoughtful, loving, true partner he was. He still seeks out ways to do little things to make my life easier all the time. Many years later, obviously these examples are specific, but hopefully you see the overall green flag qualities they showed. My husband and I have endless conversations. There's nothing we can't talk about. Nothing. The first time we ever chatted on the phone we talked for 6 hours. We've been together for 15 years and still talk every day, several times a day. We love our breakfast time because we chat after eating and really enjoy each other's company. We love talking no matter where we are. And since he also works from home, we work together. There's lots of times we're saying nothing, just enjoying being around each other. But I love that we can talk about anything we want and it doesn't descend into an argument. They genuinely like being able to do things to help you out and vice versa. Big evidence on the vice versa part though. The great feeling of helping someone out can fade fast once you realize you're being manipulated. Definitely do not be a doormat. Taking embarrassing in stride. This was pretty literal for me. Sorry, this is my second post. I used to have ulcerative colitis really severely, which led to me esting myself far more often than one should est themselves in their early 20s. When I first started seeing my husband, who has ASD, we'd drive from campus to my apartment, and I'd be like, white knuckle concentrating on not esting myself in his car, run up the stairs, usually barely making it to the bathroom, before he walked through the door. One night I didn't make it. I'm basically hiding in the bathroom and turn on the shower b/c it's a gross mess. On the other side of the door, he's all, why are you always so mad at me when we drive to your place? Did I say something? He'd been reading my try not to s face as I'm angry, so I came clean and admitted I'd just s myself, preparing for him to sort of back out slowly and end things as quickly as would be polite. This was within our first 2 months. His response instead, oh, so you just s yourself? Where are your jeans? In the garbage. That's silly. Jeans are expensive. The laundromat is locked for the night. But do you have a bucket or something? We can soak them overnight and wash them tomorrow. You're really not grossed out? / shrug. Not like you could help it. Just like, talk to me. I thought you were mad. Tell me what's going on. You know? I had feared that exact scenario since I started having symptoms. And my future hubs just rolled with it. Years later, when I had my colectomy, he bathed me in the hospital. After that, when he had to have a circumcision at 25, I looked after his stitches / changed his bandages several times a day, and we laughed about how gross stuff was. He's seriously the best. How good is their company during a drive? Or when there is nothing to do? My future wife and I found that we love just spending time together. We could talk for hours in a car during a drive. Sometimes the drive was more interesting than where we were going. A few weeks into our relationship, we went through a drive-through and she spontaneously unwrapped and rewrapped my burger so I could eat it while driving with clean hands. I knew I was going to marry her. Just over a week from now it will be 23 years. Shit. My wife and I can drive for 3 hours without saying a word. She might jump out of the car if I wanted to talk for 3 hours and vice versa. Quiet time is fun time. If they respond well when you are dealing with a crisis situation, or when you are seriously ill, or when your family member is seriously ill, they may be a keeper. In other words, how do they act / interact with you during times of stress? Does their presence / behavior help? Do they make it worse? Or do they make themselves scarce? Isolation was doing a number on my relationship for a hot minute. Cooped up. Not seeing friends. Nothing to get excited for. Just generally feeling down and irritable. My partner and I were bickering more often about stupid little things and we just weren't feeling great about things for a bit. Then we went on a drive down a forested dirt road to scope out possible campsites for the weekend. And ended up losing our brakes entirely, which had been inspected the week before but evidently not properly. Followed shortly after by a flat tire. Then the spare also ended up being flat. Reminder to check your spares regularly. It was getting late, and help was on the way to meet us back at the main road. But to get to it, we had to get down a steep hill without cell service, with a drop off on one side, with no brakes and a tire so flat it was basically hanging off the rims. It was not a good situation. He literally had to go down the hill and park with the emergency brake on to keep us from gaining speed. We were super in sync for it. Kept our cool. Talked our way through it. And all was well. Afterwards, we both felt way better about our relationship because when it got real, we were partners working through it together. We worked through the little things and we've been doing great. Both people genuinely enjoying the conversation. Being attentive to each other. No negative attitude either. To add to this, asking questions. If you're enjoying the conversation because you're dominating the talking, it makes people turned off. Ask them questions and expect them to ask you some in return. Show interest in them by asking questions about things they seem energized. This is huge in developing good conversations. Okay, but they keep asking me questions and I start feeling like I'm talking too much. I'll try and ask them things, but I'll have to keep at it a bit more. Maybe I'm misreading, but people seem intrigued to listen and ask about what I'm saying. Or am I just a seal mayo? Being weird together after only a couple of dates. It has taken me forever with most. But if I'm able to open up and be silly, then I know it's a really good sign, as I'm an introvert and incredibly shy around someone new. Especially someone I see as a partner. You genuinely enjoy one another's company during dull moments. Life's full of them, and you are going to want a partner who you can enjoy them with. On my second date, before I was supposed to move states, we got stuck in a parking garage cause of an accident for 45 minutes. We watched a non-subtitled foreign film on my phone, enjoyed talking with one another, and we connected despite being done with what we had planned to do, and were stuck in a car. I ended up cancelling my move and marrying the woman. Edit. Just realized today was the day I proposed to her 3 years ago. Odd that it coincided with the post lol. What a cute story. When you can talk forever about pretty much anything, and when something you have different opinions about becomes an interesting discussion rather than a fight. Important. If you cannot air out your problems, making necessary accommodations, and have different opinions, do not think it will magically change when in relationship. I actually know a girl who thought all of her and her boyfriend's problems would just magically disappear once they were married. Spoiler, they did not. In fact, disappear. The ability to apologize. If your partner never sees their faults, it'll never work. To tag on to this, apologizing/admitting they were wrong and then making the genuine effort to correct their poor behavior. If needed, apologizing like it makes it okay to keep doing the crappy thing they were doing is a red flag. Being able to make each other laugh. Understanding the other person's sense of humor is critical in long relationships. And besides, do you really want to get serious with someone who can't hardly make you laugh or smile? This is so important. I don't think people realize how many arguments can be avoided when you understand when someone is joking. Goes for relationships and general life relationships. I just broke up with someone who didn't understand that unnecessarily serious answers to funny/controversial comments is a form of humor for me, and that my feelings are not hurt. Until I read this, I didn't realize how much strain this little fact had put on our interactions. I once went on a date with a girl who was a fan of a rival sports team. She said, fan. I hope that's not a problem. And I responded, not as long my team keeps winning. And she got offended. I interpreted it as an invitation for a little playful banter, not a serious question. When, during an argument, both parties take time to listen and respond thoughtfully to their partner and show genuine concern for the distress in their partner, even if it is small, this is major. My wife and I both pride our relationship on our handling of our disagreements. If either of us starts to get angry, we stop separate for a while, then come back with cooler heads and iron it out. The adage "don't go to bed angry I hate" cause sometimes that cool down period helps. But you still have to be open and communicate what it is you are feeling and why. Edit. Forgot to say handling of our disagreements. This is very important. Usually we are pretty good at recognizing when the other had a rough day, or is tired, or hangry, or just feeling down. Sometimes when we are both like this, we know well enough to do our own thing for a bit before things get heated. Pride and ego never get in the way of apologizing and having genuine concern for the other's feelings. We try to at least say, "We are probably both tired, let's talk about it tomorrow. I love you" before bed. Encouraging growth, but doesn't try to change your foundation. So much this. My now husband is 100% the reason I decided to go to college at 25. He believed in me and encouraged me so much, or I'd have never done it. I kinda just did it on a whim too. It ended up being a quick decision over the summer. I'll be a senior next semester and applying to law schools, and he has been so supportive, encouraging, and helpful this entire time. Honestly, had I had the support from my family, I'd probably already have been through college. I'm lucky I found him. This really gave me hope. It's never too late for college. I'm not that old, but I'll be 22 in a couple of days and have been beating myself up more than usual because I wasn't sure if it was too late to go to college or if I've missed my chance. I've never really found my way or passion or anything that points to any career direction. But nice to know it's not too late to find it and still go for it. Thank you and congrats. 32-year-old engineer that works in a different field because I starting having epilepsy. I'm currently finishing a certificate and then applying for a master's in public policy. I'll be 35ish when finishing and maybe older if my epilepsy is not being a bitch. It's never too late. 3. The one that surprised me the most was being upset and telling my BF how I needed them to do this, help me with chores, walk the dog every once in a while, etc. because I was overwhelmed and frustrated, and he just responded, "Okay, I didn't know you felt like that. I'll try to do better, but please remind me if I forget," and that was that. And he did. It seems small and obvious, but holy crap, I don't think I had ever felt more heard. I wouldn't think of that as small. If you hadn't said anything, those issues would not have gone away. Most of the truly terrible relationships you see are the result of too many things going unsaid until it's too late. You go on a road trip together and still like each other at the end of it. Absolutely. Traveling together in general is a great test of a relationship. My boyfriend and I have traveled internationally together 3 times now. Twice while dating, and once before we got together. Packing, airports, cabs, foreign languages, etc. Being able to navigate all the potentially stressful aspects of traveling and still have a good time together is a huge green flag in my opinion. Comfortable silences. If you can enjoy each other's companies without needing a distraction, you're usually golden. Edit. Thanks for awards. I'd like to thank the Academy and the kind strangers. That's how you know you've found somebody really special. When you can just shut the F up for a minute and comfortably share silence. Maya, Pulp Fiction. I don't think we are quite there yet. Vincent Vega. We'll never know now. Vincent. Hope the book was worth it. Do they respect your boundaries? Do they apologize or acknowledge if they have done something wrong without making themselves the victim? So much this. If both people in a relationship can look at themselves objectively and admit when they are wrong, a calm conversation will solve 95% of relationship problems. r/relationship_advice in a nutshell. Have you tried talking to your partner? No. Honestly, talk to your partner. Noticing the other does not take themselves too seriously. In the very early days of dating my now husband, we took a long road trip for a romantic getaway in Boston. The first night in town, expensive dinner in a famous seafood restaurant. The server brings the bill and takes my date's credit card. Server comes back with the news that the credit card was declined. Both he and I burst out laughing at the same moment. That was my green flag. Maybe he knew it would and you paid. It was a ruse I say. The long con. If you set a boundary and they respect it. If you say that you are more comfortable meeting them at the date location after they offer you a ride, they shouldn't insist on picking you up. Yeah. See how someone reacts when you say no to them. If they respect it, it's pretty good. Although you must be careful. People such as narcissists are good at giving you whatever you want at the beginning of a relationship. In the same vein, how they react when plans are changed, delayed and cancelled. Life is full of tiny plot twists. A person who can go with flow and handle a shitty day with some good humor is a keeper in my book. Equally, early days of dating. Having someone cancel or reschedule multiple times, or they turn up late. Who has time for that? Ick now? When you feel completely at ease with them, you feel you can totally be yourself. Love is fireworks at first, but if they come with a warm glow rather than edginess, that's a good sign. I would add that also, when you are at ease without them, when one or both of you are out separately, and you trust them implicitly, no matter who they are with, and they trust you, that you're happy for them to be with their friends, that you're enjoying the time to yourself, if you're home alone, but also excited for the moment they walk in the door again. Being comfortable with time apart. Early on in my relationship, he went out of town with his family. When he arrived back in town, he called me and thanked me for giving him space. But now he misses me and wants to come over. Apparently, his last girlfriend had him on the phone day and night when he was out of town, and he was shocked I didn't call him at all. I was respecting his space. We've been married 5 years now, and I still don't bother him when he's gone for a weekend. He calls me every night before bed, but I don't bug him because I want him to enjoy his time without worrying about me. It helps that I trust him. If the person is genuinely a busy person, but will always find time to see you and spend time with you, they don't push their preferences on you and pressure you to maintain them. My wife and I have about 20-30% crossover in our tastes in music. Neither of us try and change each other's minds. We'll show each other cool stuff in the crossover area, but the outside areas get left alone. She won't subject me to stuff I find sleepy or nauseating, and I won't subject her to things she finds terrifying and overstimulating. They're okay with spending time apart. A significant other, or even just a friend, that can spend their own time alone and doesn't absolutely need you to be happy is a major green flag. You should make each other's lives better, not become each other's entire lives. They're okay with spending time apart. We just celebrated 15 years together, and I believe this is the single most important part of us being happy together for that long. We are both hobby and career driven individuals that have our own workspaces at home where we like to escape and do our own thing. We also often chill in the same room while doing our own separate things and just enjoying each other company, respecting each other's needs to do things alone, and not needing to do absolutely everything together is really the key to our relationship working as well as it does. Open communication about sex and feelings. Holding that stuff in for too long can lead to built up resentment, communication breakdown, confusion, depression, all sorts of issues down the road. And being okay with raising concerns and issues, like if you find a person who can deal with that level-headedly, maybe even not agree, but at least hear your piece without getting offended, you're a winner. I don't believe in relationships where there are no conflicts or concerns ever. That just doesn't happen. Relationships are bumpy and full of snags, and being able to navigate them together is so important. What makes a relationship is not whether or not there is conflict. It's how you handle conflict. If you can communicate with each other well, it will make your life so much easier.